let's talk about the CBS demons. If I left with anything, it was good debate, terrible freaking media. Like, I have hatred for the media more than I ever have.
So I asked this question to my husband last night. Has there ever been a presidential debate that was moderated by Fox News correspondents?
Yeah.
There has been?
Yep.
Okay. I usually see NBC, CBS, things of that nature, which feels very one-sided. So I've wondered, I'm like, have we had one where the other side was kind of in the...
Yeah, and if you take all of the media, the corporations, the networks, the media networks, you find some of them that are less leaning in either direction, and so each one of them have them. So you have your opinion people who you don't want as your moderators because they're so heavily slanted. The problem is that these media groups have gotten so liberal that if you pick the ones that are least liberal, they're still more liberal than they were 10 years ago.
Yeah.
So it's hard to find somebody who's not going to come in with an agenda, and they might not even know they're doing it. I'm sure they do. I think if you don't think the questions they picked were ones that would highlight all of the weaknesses of the Republicans on one side and skirt around the weaknesses on the Democrat, you're crazy. Go ahead and make a list of the questions that were asked and see if they led the conversation in an uncomplimentary direction around the Republican.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
And how did you feel when Vance, threw it in there like, wait. No. I'm going to address this. You want to fact check? Let's fact check. And he just kept going. And then at one point they're like, well, your mics have been turned off. I said, I can still hear him. And he has a point. He did. Did you see that part?
Oh, heck yeah.
Yeah, where they're talking about the Haitians. Are they legally? And he's like, wait. Let's talk about what legally means. And I thought that was one clear example.
But it is absolutely apparent that the media are just an extension of the campaign for the Democrats. They are using the institutions of media as a guise, right, to just pile on and be an extension of the Democrat Party. And we don't need to do that anymore. We don't have 3 channels that are on TV. We have other platforms that are separated, like X, right?
Yeah.
You can very easily do a Spaces where you can pick the most objective, hard-on-everyone moderator, and you don't need to use the operatives that are in the media to do this shit. And I hope that's the big loser from last night. I think both candidates served the public well by doing what they did and behaving the way they did. And I think CBS needs to crash and burn. If I could burn it down and make it so they never had a voice again in politics, I would do it. Go be a sounding board for the Democrats. Put it on your marketing that you are a liberal news organization. Be opinion so everybody knows what they're getting. But if the center people don't realize that they're watching propaganda from one side and they just repeat what they heard there, think about the people who that's all they get their news from. Like you and I source it from all different places. But what about the regular people who only get that angle? And then you wonder why you get so many by default Democrats.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you could see it on Facebook. Anytime somebody is strongly towards one side, they will start talking about something they just saw on the news. And you could tell what news channel they were watching.
100%.
And it's like, why is it a money issue? Why can't we get another source, another, outside third party, whatever, to come moderate these things?
This is the physical version of they, right? How that works and where people get jobs and how they make their money and how they get their influence. They're not separated. You can't say government and media, right, are 2 different institutions that don't talk to one another, right? They are all in the same vein. And so to separate it would be, if you have somebody that was worked inside of government and then they all of a sudden get an anchor job on, in a one of the networks, that didn't happen by chance, right? Their prosperity is already earmarked when they decide what they're going to do. So let's just say you go through government and I say all nice things about you, right? And if I say all nice things about you, then you give me cushy jobs where you don't have to ever earn a living. You could just go on TV, make a bunch of money, and all I have to do is say nice things about you forever. And that is what our media is. And it happens on both sides. If you're loyal to one side, you get lots of things. And if you're disloyal, you get thrown away and you get nothing. So of course, the media is going to be conditioned to be complimentary to one side, be biased for one side because they get financial gain by being loyal to that group.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And I mean, we've talked about too, where I try to look at a lot of sources online rather than on TV where you don't have edited snippets of things. And it's still kind of difficult there because, I mean, if you're on YouTube, all the stories you can tell, NBC, CNN versus Fox News versus Forbes, whatever it is, you have to almost look at both to find the truth because they are both so slanted. And I swear, like, for example, if I got to hear one more time that J.D. Vance admitted to creating stories, I'm like, y'all better stop. That's not what he said. That was a completely turning of his words from one interview. And they do it to both sides. So it's almost like, well, where do you go? What do you look at?
Well, that's the media. Remember, the media's job is to put together a product that people will consume. Right? Mm-hmm. If they say one thing and you don't watch, they're not going to do that thing. If they do other thing and you do watch, they're going to do that thing. So if they make it salacious, if they try to prod and make chaos happen, they're going to do that if we as the consumers watch. I love when the ratings come out and those people who are salacious end up hemorrhaging viewers because the consumers are guiding and directing the end product, and then they do less of that. You watch, even like CNN got hardcore liberal for a little while. Their ratings went the tank, so they moderated a little bit, and their people got a little bit better. If you watch CNN right now, you'll be like, somebody said something in one of those meetings that said, we got to get off the ship because we're going to be out of business if we keep
I mean, it might be a little better.
It's a little better.
From what I'm seeing, it's still very
biased. But what exposes is when you watch someone who was, you painted them a certain way, and all of a sudden like they take a different angle, mm-hmm. right? And they're like, there was nothing authentic about them. If somebody could have said something to you, and now your whole belief system and structure changes because it's a threat to your prosperity. You can't make money if you feel that way, so you're going to change the way you are so you can continue making money.
Yeah.
It's a corrupt system that's full of nepotism, that all you do is give these cushy jobs to people, and all they do is do what they're supposed to do once they're there. So if you want to talk about lobbyists destroying the lawmaking because of the money that's flowing in that guides people's opinions and directions, the same lobbying happens, whatever you call it, going into media and structuring narratives through media. You ever watch those compilations of the media saying the exact same verbiage about something, almost like it was handed to them as what they're supposed to say?
Oh, yeah. I've not seen a compilation, but I've been noticing it just watching it. Yeah, it's the same verbiage, the same lines, which, again, I think the candidates do as well. It's like they all get, here are our 5 go-to phrases, and if you were in a pinch or you don't want to answer a question or you maybe need something to throw out there to deflect, use this phrase. And I'm just like, can we not accept that? Like, don't accept that. Answer the question. Don't give me one of your phrases. And I mean, and it's both sides, but.
Yeah, but what you said about having a debate on someplace else away from the same people, they're going to be pissed off about it. Like, because that is their thing.
Yeah.
And it's sacred. And you don't take away. The public needs it on the CBS nightly news or the debate stage that, as we saw it last night. Yeah. You start splitting it off and making it a round table, 2 guys talking about it with an objective moderator that just wants to get to answers, and you will watch this entire thing blow up. The first one that happens will be the end of the mainstream media.
Oh, and you can see, too, I mean, we've talked before about how these news organizations, they are still shows. It's still television to them. They still need to make money and create interest. So I almost look at a debate like last night as maybe a threat to these news organizations that are like, whoa, this was too easy, too civil. I mean, because really, nobody was up in arms today. Nobody was going at it today. We're only discussing it because that's what we do, is we discuss things that just happened.
If you have to discuss it.
Yes, but it's like, where's the controversy? Where's the big moment that's going to keep people talking? Where's they're eating dogs and cats from last night? You know what I mean? Like, it was so cordial and went so well and smoothly that I could almost see the news organizations being like, shit. You know, like we gotta
All right, so let me give you a historical, sort of metaphor. So let's just say the Colosseum is packed, right? Mm-hmm. You have the warrior in the middle of the arena, and they release the tiger. And the tiger just kind of lays down, and The warrior's just kind of petting the tiger, and they're kind of getting along over there. The king is going to be furious.
Yeah.
So what is the king going to do? Going to, irritate the tiger?
Yep.
Going to irritate the tiger,
Poke
see
that
if we can
tiger.
get that tiger to eat the warrior, or at least the warrior give him enough reason to kill the tiger. But if that doesn't work, then you're going to have to put like the giant in there, and the giant's going to have to come in. Somebody's got to die. The Colosseum will be the most no one will show up the next time. They'll sell less whatever they ate at the Colosseum, popcorn, I don't know, whatever they eat. But they will keep ramping it up until they get what they were after, and that is blood. They need blood to hit the dirt in the Colosseum, or else the Colosseum doesn't have a purpose.
Yeah.
The only way you do that is you have to change what goes on in the Colosseum, or you have to get your blood.
Absolutely. Absolutely.